It's a very proper heading, the importance of ergonomically correct office workstations. And it's all about proper posture. So to explain, Terry Cassidy, owner and founder of Ergocentric, and Lynn Hatt, certified ergonomic specialist and owner of ErgoLinks, are in studio with us today. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, Lynn, let's start with you. With the goal, why is it important to have an ergonomically correct workplace?
Workplace. Well, to start with, when you're spending so much time as we do in an office environment or at work, you want to be as comfortable as possible. And if you look at something, absenteeism compared to presenteeism, there's a huge impact with your uncomfortable sitting and your ergonomic setup.
So, Terry, what is an ergonomically correct office workspace made up of?
Well, it's the desk and the chair are the primary components.
Sounds reasonable.
And they have to be designed to be ergonomic to fit the person that's using them, rather than the person adapting to whatever happens to be there.
Define ergonomic in your world.
In my world, ergonomics is, in layman's terms, is fitting the task to the worker. So my job as an ergonomic specialist would be to go in there and to identify if there were any possible issues going on that need to be corrected, if they're sitting improperly that are going to put themselves in jeopardy of injury.
We hear and we know that we should have an ergonomic office chair, but what does it really mean?
Well, it means finding one that's right for you. So
Right
the
for
big
you.
problem that's happening out there is companies need to hire interior design firms when they're setting up huge new office space. The interior design firms tend to specify chairs based on what they look like. And because
Right.
they want a uniform look, everybody gets the same chair.
And not everybody is different.
Everybody's different, so at least 30% of people in almost every office is sitting in a chair that's not right for them at all.
You
And
must
that's creating
hear this
problems.
story all the time.
Every day.
So, but I mean, if you have to suit a worker's, an employee's size, their dimensions, I would guess men and women probably even sit differently in a chair. How can you do that and get consistency across a huge office space?
Well, our whole company is built on this. My wife was a physiotherapist. That's how I got into this business. So we have a modular manufacturing system, mass customization. So our chairs are very adjustable, so one chair fits many people. But what we say is for the outliers, the people who our chair doesn't fit, we can change the seat size, change the gas lift, change anything that's needed to fit people who are harder to fit.
What is the part of the body that's most strained in a non-ergonomically friendly chair for
Low.
8 hours?
Low back, your neck and shoulders, because if there's not sufficient support in either of those regions, then your posture is going to be affected. You're either going to have front flexion with just your body fatiguing throughout the day from sitting in that awkward posture for the majority of the day.
You provide services to offices and manufacturing sectors, right? Can you tell us a bit about that role and what an ergonomist does, and if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Ergonomist.
Ergonomist.
Yes.
Okay, ergonomist. Yes.
That's okay.
So exactly how do you if I want my employees to have great chairs, what do I do?
So an assessment would consist of an interview with one-on-one with the employee, or what I would call the end user, and just come up with some ideas for them to minimize their opportunity of injury. We would do anthropometric measurements. Anthropometric is your body measurements, and you were mentioning men versus women and how they would sit differently. Yeah, because their actual structure, their musculoskeletal system, which are your bones and your tendons and such, are completely different, and in the seated posture specifically.
So Terry, tell us a little bit about the chair. Lynn's sitting in one of your chairs, and it looks very nice, very tasteful, very comfortable, I assume.
Yes.
So what are the key differences between that and the lovely chair I'm sitting in?
Well, yours is a guest chair that's completely unadjustable, but this one has, for example, arm caps that adjust inward from the top. So many females have wider at the hip and slender at the shoulders. So when you sit in the chair, the arms have to start off wide, but then you can move the arm caps in to fully
so you
support
can
your
rest.
arms. So fully supporting your arms actually takes weight off your neck and shoulders and allows you to stay upright. So it reduces the
And
work
gives you
activity
the
of staying
support
upright.
for your hands if you're working
Mm-hmm.
on your keyboard.
Yes. And then we make different sizes of seats, so down to very tiny seats to fit everybody. You need the right seat size.
Seat size, and you've got a neck rest like a car. It's very high up behind your head. Oh, it even goes higher.
It's hugely adjustable.
Or you can get rid of it completely. There you go.
Yeah, some headrests on the market actually kind of make your neck go into a bad posture if you don't want it. So this one gets right out of the way.
And what about lumbar support? That's a big one for me. I have a sway back in there, so I'm always looking for something to lean against. It never quite hits my back.
Yeah, so we have infinite 5 inches of back height adjustment and a very pronounced lumbar. And you can get air lumbar, pump it up even more if you need it, because it's crucial that it's in the right spot and that it's
Yes.
enough for you. And that's the thing that's probably the most often deficient
I
in other
have
chairs.
honestly bought a car because it had that feature in it, and the lumbar support was movable enough and deep enough for me to.
The lateral
Yeah,
is
to go-
usually what's missing.
Yes, exactly. So it's very.
I'm
key.
beginning to realize, we spend hours. It's what they say: sitting is the new smoking. In a chair that is no good for us. Like this is like going and having your shoes fit
Or a bed.
or a bed.
Would you not go and have a proper fitting or lie down or really try
Exactly.
the bed out? Absolutely.
So, do you recommend that people do that if you're setting up an office or you're even at home? You have a desk and have somebody come in and really
Absolutely.
fit you for
Either
it.
have someone come in and do what I would call a workstation analysis, or you come down to our showroom and get a proper fitting from one of our trained salespeople and come
And
up
you're
with
right downtown on King Street, right?
right at the King Edward
King
Hotel.
Edward Hotel. That's easy to
Wow.
remember.
Yes.
Do you sort of service what, all of Ontario or Toronto?
Yeah,
The
we're-
world?
We're across North America and into Europe. Yes.
Oh wow!
That's incredible. And you just came up with this about 1990, or was it your wife?
29 years ago. Now, she was a
29.
physiotherapist. I was a
Right.
lawyer, and I went into this business to take advantage of her knowledge. So I got into this to make ergonomic chairs to reduce the stresses that seating caused. As a physio, she was saying back pain is the one thing I have the most difficulty curing once they have the problem.
And the light
Ergonomic
went
chairs, the
on.
idea is to prevent it from happening in the first place.
Are you also an engineer, or did you? How did this? The
No,
whole-
I think I have more of an engineer's mind than a legal mind. So I have about 20 patents in my name,
Wow, that's incredible.
but I have to hire lawyers whenever I have a legal issue. So.
Oh, that must be frustrating.
So these are primarily adult chairs. You do them for younger people too.
Students, I would think, would be interesting. Schools.
We do get a lot of students in for, think about out of 24 hours a day,
Exactly.
we sit for 17. If we can do a quick breakdown, it's sleeping for hopefully 8 hours a night. You get up and you sit down for breakfast. There's 1 hour. You commute possibly for another hour. You get into work, you're sitting for 7 to 8 hours. You sit on your lunch, your breaks. Those people who please eat at your desk, get away from it. You don't want to be doing
I get
that.
up now because I'm sitting all day. I get up and I walk, and there's a lot of stairs. I sort of do a circuit for about 5 minutes and go
Good.
and sit back down again. But what about the stand-up desks? Those.
We sell those too. And one thing we like to guard against is companies who buy them. If they don't see everybody standing, they think they wasted their money. The value in them is, if you look at my company, everybody has a height adjustable desk, and they're all at a different height. So everybody's used them to make the desk the perfect height for them while they're sitting. Being able to stand and work for 5 minutes an hour is a bonus, but you really don't want to stand for more than that. You can develop problems if you stand all day too.
So there's lots of information available on your website. That's ergocentric.com, or you can visit one of the showrooms, as you said, in the King Edward Hotel, where, as I understand it, on Monday you are celebrating the grand opening, and Dr. Roberta Bondar will be there, Canada's first female astronaut, and she would know a lot about proper fitting equipment.
Yes, we're very excited to have her there because she had her own ergonomic issues with NASA, providing her with men's gloves instead of gloves that fit her to allow her to do her job. And
It's still happening because there was a woman out that did not have a spacesuit that fit her properly.
27 years later.
Maybe you should get into space.
I'm having enough difficulty now. So.
Thank you.
Well, she